Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Rise Kill Eat podcast. My name is Tyler Pruitt, and I am the host of the Rise Kill Eat podcast. I just want to thank you for spending some time today and listening to the show. The purpose of the Rise Kill Eat podcast is to share the stories of those that are in the hunting community and really to have great discussions with people in the hunting community, all about the things that make hunting meaningful to them. It's really my goal to share the stories of those that are involved in the community of hunting and to have great discussions all about what makes hunting important for us as hunters. So if this is your first time checking out the Rice Kill Eat podcast, thank you for checking us out today. And be sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss out on any of the future action. We've got some great guests lined up for the future. We got deer hunting coming up. So, of course, deer hunting is on the mind. So I've got some great guests that are going to be coming on. And we're really going to dive into a whole lot of different topics around hunting and hunting season, whitetail deer hunting, and just the fall hunting season in general. So make sure that you subscribe today. That way you don't miss out on any of the future episodes. If you are a return listener, then thank you for coming back. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. I'm glad that you have committed to the Rice Kill Eat podcast. That's something that you want to listen to on a weekly basis, and I appreciate the ongoing support. If you haven't had an opportunity to yet, then be sure to check out RKE Afield on social media. So we are present on Instagram and Facebook at this time, and also on YouTube. A lot of our recent podcast episodes have been posted to YouTube and making video files of those and posting those on there for people that are interested in listening to the Rice Kill Eat podcast through YouTube. You guys can do that there. And also on Instagram, you can find us at RKE Afield. And then on Facebook, it's facebook.com/RKE Afield. So make sure you check us out. And that's RKE as in Rice Kill Eat, just like the title of this podcast. Be sure to give us a follow. Be sure to give us a like. Be sure to follow along as we are sharing some of our original content and sharing some information about the podcast, sharing some reposts from people that we follow and that kind of thing. So be sure to check us out on those platforms. Now, I've just got one quick announcement before we get into today's episode with Josh Carney. If you haven't had a chance to check out our website, it's rkeafield.com. So RKE as in Rise Kill Eat, rkeafield.com, then be sure to do that. We have an awesome sale going on there right now. It's the biggest sale that we've ever had in the history of RKE Afield. All of our items are reduced right now. It's kind of a way for us to celebrate the season opener. So a lot of hunting seasons are opening up right now and celebrating the fact that we're getting back into hunting. So we have our season opener sale going on right now, and where all of our items are marked down up to 50% off. So all of our merchandise, our shirts, our hats, and that kind of thing, they're all marked down up to 50% off on rkeafield.com. So be sure to head over there and check it out. You don't need a promo code for the discount. The sales are already discounted, so no need to put in a promo code. However, I do have a special going on right now for my podcast listeners specifically. So if you use promo code podcast, so that's PODCAST podcast, then you will get free shipping on your order. So not only are you going to get prices that are marked down up to 50% off, but you're also going to get free shipping on top of that. So this is something that I am exclusively putting out there for my podcast listeners. So be sure to take advantage of that. And again, that's at rkeafield.com. So my guest today is Josh Carney. Josh Carney is nicknamed the Son of the South. He is a paraplegic turkey hunter from Louisiana, and we had a really great conversation all about dealing with adversity and dealing with tough things in our lives. And of course, we get into turkey hunting and just basically being able to keep a positive mindset. So Josh has been exposed to a lot in his life, and he has really taken the idea of a positive mindset to the whole new level. And we really had a fun conversation all about how he's able to keep his mindset positive and how he's able to continue doing the things that he's doing and continue loving life. And it was a real great conversation that I had with Josh, and I'm looking forward to you guys being able to listen to it. We did have a little bit of some technical difficulties. There were some issues with the recording system that we were using, so we ended up having to change it before we started recording. So we actually did this conversation over the phone. So the audio is not going to be as crisp as it typically is in our past few episodes, but you guys will still be able to hear it, and I wanted to make sure that I went ahead and published this episode because of the great conversation, the great content that we were able to have. So just be mindful that the audio is over the phone. It was recorded over the phone. So you shouldn't have any issues being able to understand it, but it's going to sound a little bit different than a couple of our past episodes. But without further ado, I want to go ahead and let you guys listen to this conversation. Again, we had a great conversation all about everything that Josh is all about. So be sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. We've talked the past couple weeks over really a lot of different things. We've gotten into turkey hunting. We've gotten into a few different things, and it's been really cool being able to connect with you, being able to talk with you, outside of the podcast and that kind of thing. And we've been working on trying to set a date for the recording of the Rise Kill Eat podcast, and we finally found us a compatible date for tonight. And I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you taking some time out of your night, even though we've had a little bit of technology issues, but we're just going to try to put that behind us and move on. So I've actually got you on the phone right now. So the audio is going to be a little bit different than what we're typically used to, but I think it's going to turn out all right.
It's all good with me. I'm game for whatever it is.
All right, man. So as far as hunting goes, so you're down in Louisiana and you're down there in prime duck hunting country. You've got a lot of good wildlife opportunities for the most part. A lot of fishing opportunities. So how did you get into hunting? How did you get into who first introduced you, and when was that?
Man, growing up, my dad introduced me to the outdoors when I was a little kid. I think my first hunting experience was wearing a soggy diaper and carrying around a little rattler. And with a little pop gun trying to shoot everything that moved. I think that was my actual first hunting experience. And then being out in the woods, I came from a small game hunting family, so we had a pack of beagles, and I just fell in love with, hearing the dogs run, and, it just sounded like an orchestra of music. So I just fell in love with it. I just wanted to be in outdoors more. As I grew up, I started playing sports and all that good stuff, but it wasn't like being outdoors for me. It wasn't like hunting. So I grew up to around age 11. I saw a lot of people deer hunting, and I wanted to learn how to deer hunt and all that stuff. So I read a couple books, got some magazines, and didn't know anything about what I was doing. My dad had a friend, and he's like, "I'll take him deer hunting." And the guy, we got up to a hunting property, and he's like, "All right, you're going to walk down such and such, and then you're going to cut over and do this, that, and there's going to be a stand." So I took off with my dad's 30-06, and I sat in the stand by myself and didn't know anything about what I was doing. I mean, I knew the ethic of hunting, but I knew nothing about whitetail hunting. I didn't know anything about wind, stand direction. I didn't know that all that gold stuff on the ground was corn. I just didn't know anything, when it came to deer hunting. And that afternoon, I actually killed my first deer, and it was a button buck, 11 years old. And I got the initiation into the deer hunting society when they smear your face with deer blood and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I just hooked after that. 2 years later, I wanted turkey hunt. I've seen a lot of people do it. They just get these two sticks and they rub them together and make a sound, and turkey runs in. It's like, man, this is the dumbest turkey, the dumbest animal ever. Like, I can rub two sticks together and call a turkey. I was like feeling really confident at the time. And my first turkey hunt ever is when I had my tragic accident. Me and my dad went turkey hunting on a piece of property that I grew up hunting rabbits on. And one Sunday after church, we take off. I bug the heck out of take turkey hunting. We go down this road, get set up, and we're about 25 yards apart from each other. And neither one knew what we were doing. I had a 14 with like number 4s, and he had 12 gauge double up buckshots. Back in the day, before turkey loads became something cool, double up buckshots did the trick.
Yeah, that's a heavy load.
Yeah. So the turkey came behind the tree. I was sitting on my dad's shot, and as he shot, I looked down the barrel of the gun, and he shot me. he runs over, he picks me up, he carries me to the front of the property where EMS is waiting for me, and everything from there, my life changed from there. I spent 3 months in the hospital. Doctors came in and told me that I never walk again, and they told me to had a breathing tube in my throat for so long that I never talk again. And when the doctor told me that, I kind of got a little mad, and I pulled a tube out of my throat, and I told him he was wrong. And when I did that, it altered my vocal cords, and a couple years later, I discovered that I can make animal sounds because my voice never really matured. Because it happened at just a young age, and when I pulled a tube out of my throat, it just kind of messed up my vocal cords in a good way.
Right, man. That's a crazy story. I watched the video I think you did with maybe Realtree, and you kind of got into it a little bit, and it was so crazy. Just trying to picture myself in that position, and it would be so difficult, I think, for me to be able to keep the positive attitude that you have kept through this whole process for you. I mean, to be at such a young age, I mean, you're 13, 14 years old, you're a young teenager, you're just now, developing, you're getting more into sports, it's becoming competitive, and then everything just changes for you. I mean, it's insane I try to picture myself in that position, and I'm not sure if I could have the same positive outlook that you've been able to keep through a process like that.
I mean, a lot. I mean, it was tough. I mean, it was not easy. Going from being a point guard in basketball and pitcher in baseball to being consigned to a wheelchair. But I'm not gonna lie. At a young age, I became a young entrepreneur. Like, I discovered ways to get people to push me around and make an effort to get me in front of the line every time. So with my accent, I started learning a lot about myself and ways to critique things that fit for my daily lifestyle. I mean, I can't complain with my accent. It didn't. I mean, it hurt, but it didn't hurt me as a person. I actually learned a lot from being in a chair and experiencing life in a different aspect, because I get to see things in a different life. Things that most people take for granted. I have to sit back and look. Okay, well, let me figure out how can I do this with what I have or what I don't have. So I mean, I'm not saying that my accent hindered me. I mean, it kind of made me into a better person, to be honest with you.
Right, you're able just to kind of slow down and take in everything that a lot of people will end up taking for granted. I mean, like, most of us are able to get up, walk around, and I myself included, and I'm sure thousands, millions of other people are taking that for granted, and that's something that was just in a blink of an eye was taken away from you, but you haven't let it change who you are as a person. You've let it become this new you. I mean, really, you really have, and it's been really cool for me once I first discovered you, and once I heard your story, and once I saw everything that you've done throughout your life and everything, how inspiring it is for somebody that's got these kind of things going on with you, and yet you're still able to keep this positive mindset. I mean, you've been able to help so many other people who may have similar disabilities, or may have similar things going on with them, and may just have some other things going on with them. You've been able to help so many people because of your inspiring story, and because of the positive outlook and the outcomes that you've been able to kind of adapt from your story. It's pretty incredible, watching everything from my perspective, at least.
Yeah, man, I definitely appreciate it. I mean, here's the thing, life, we all have a life, we have a timeline on life. You can't let one bad moment in life ruin the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's in my opinion, there's no such thing as a bad day. I mean, there may be a bad few minutes of a day, but you can't let that ruin your whole day. You get 24 hours, and you can't let someone pushing a basket into your car ruin the rest of your day. I mean, it's a momentary thing. You get upset about it, figure out a way to get over it, and you keep moving forward. Because I mean, there's no sense of being in a state of mind where you're just in a toxic environment all the time because of something so small that's not going to matter in 5 years.
Right. Yeah, we all have the same amount of time. I mean, like you said, we all have the 24 hours, and some of us are going to use it in a way that's going to be beneficial for ourselves and for the people around us. And then others, unfortunately, just aren't. But I'm going to try, I'll try to, make the most of those 24 hours that I have. And I know you do too. And it's really cool to be able to, speak about these things with somebody like you and somebody who's experienced the things that you've done. And it's really cool. And just got to make the most of that time that we have. I mean, you hit the nail on the head on that one.
No, I appreciate it. Like, it's just one of those things. That's another thing that we take for granted. I mean, as I myself do it too. I mean, it's just time. Time is one thing that we definitely take for granted. The way I looked at it, with my accident, like, I died twice on operating table. I'm not supposed to be here. By the grace of God, I'm still here. And the way I look at it is, I'm on borrowed time. I mean, we're all on borrowed time because it's what's given to us, that breath that we're given to us. It's got to be taken away at some point. So we just have to make the best of what we have while we have it. And me being able to say, okay, well, I died twice and I'm still here. As a testimony, I want to make sure that my purpose of life isn't going to waste. I want to make sure everything that I do has a purpose and a benefit for what my destiny is supposed to be.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We all have a purpose, and we all have that a thing that really wakes us up in the morning. And some people they struggle with being able to find that purpose. And my pastor, he always says this quote. I forget who he says it's from, but he said the two best days in your life are when you're born and when you figure out why you're born.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, and it's so true, because once you figure out your purpose and once you figure out why you were here, I mean, everything else just becomes so much simpler. You don't get upset whenever somebody pushes a cart into your car. And you know what I'm saying? And these little things that don't really matter at the end of the day, they no longer become something that's gonna ruin the rest of your day for you. Like, I mean, you got to make the most of those 24 hours.
Some people at the end of their life, they are at their happiest because they know that at the end of it, they have left a legacy. They've left something positive behind. They've done something great to be remembered by and change the lives of others. So, the day you're born is a great day. When you find out your purpose in life, that's a great day. But, when you're able to sit there and your last, your last few seconds of life, and honestly sit back and say, I did a good job while I was here. That is what I live for. That's what I want to accomplish in life. I want to make sure I do everything I can while I can to make life better, not only for myself, but for other people. I want to, inspire people to do better, to achieve goals that they want to do. Go find ways to improve themselves while improving others. At the end of the day, if you can help one person, then that goes a long way, because what you do for that one person may affect the lives of 50 people. It trickles. It's a trickle effect. But having that aspect of positivity and pushing forward and motivating someone else to do something, that goes a long way in life. It becomes a point where it's kind of addicting. Like, you get around people who are less fortunate than you or something like that, and they need you. I'm not going to say they feed off you, but they need you in their lives to make it better. And then they started improving to make other people's lives better. I mean, if we can stay in that round and, continue to do that for others, improve ourselves while improving others, that's a life. That's a good life. Like I said, you may have a bad moment, in life, but it shouldn't affect the rest of your life. I know we like, this is a hunting podcast. I just totally went off the
No, that was perfect. No, but no, man, you definitely got it figured out. I mean, I think, there's just so many things there's so many distractions in our lives nowadays that they really takes us away from the things that are truly important for us. So for me, it's, it's my family, it's my wife, my two kids. Those us four in this house are, they're the reason I get up in the morning. They're the reason I do everything that I do. And I try to tell them that every day. And I'm guilty, just as I'm sure every other husband and father is, but I'm guilty of pushing them aside and trying to put myself, my own needs ahead of what they need from me. And whenever I sit back and you take that 1,000-foot view and I see, the things that I could be doing or I am doing or should be doing, then, it just causes you to reevaluate your priorities a little bit. And, it's, we've only got this little bit of time on this earth, and, we just got to make the most of the opportunity while we have it.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. It's like I was told a long time ago growing up, and like I never understood. Like when older people are talking to you when you're young, you just it goes in one ear and out the other.
Right.
But I was always told. I just never understood it. I was told, the Lord will not give you more than what you can handle. And with my accident, I was like, okay, well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, I got shot turkey hunting. Like, what do you mean that the more I can't handle? Like, what do you mean? Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But looking back at it now, that has built me into a person that I probably would have never been before my accident. It's built me to a level to where I understand so much more out of life and the value of life versus where I possibly could be now, could have been if I never had an accident. So it's just the way life works is very tricky. It's very hard to understand, but the more you live it, the more you get it. It sounds so cliche, but the more you live life, the more you actually start to understand it. Things that we don't understand when we're in our teenage years or in our 20s. Once you start hitting 30 and 40, you start to realize what was going on back then. Then you start to fix it, like your whole mindset changes, and you develop it to something different. Like everybody changes once they hit a certain age gap in life. And that's where I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be at that 40-year-old mark at 20, so I can be like, I don't know, the wise guy who understands life more and can get, I guess, a better understanding of life to have a better life while I'm still able to do it at a young age.
Exactly. Yeah. Whenever I'm 27, so whenever I'm, sitting back and I'm trying to think back where I want my wife, or when I'm trying to think forward to what I want my wife to be. I mean, there's so much of, wisdom from other people, especially older people, that I've either befriended through, church or neighbors or whatever. And, I try to look at things that they have done, and, I try to adhere to a lot of their advice because, I mean, this is the one life I got. So, I mean, if I can take some advice and take some advice from somebody who's been through it, then, or who's, much further advanced than I am, then, I'm going to listen.
Yeah, man, I was always told, learn from the mistakes of others.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't make the same mistakes they did because they've already done it. And they know that it was a mistake. They learned from it. To learn from someone else's mistakes. If someone jumps off a bridge, they'll go jumping off a bridge behind them. Learn that was a mistake, and you cross the bridge. You get to the next point in life.
Exactly. So what was that, after your accident, once you get out of the hospital and all that kind of thing, I'm sure the recovery process started. So what was that process like for you? And I'm sure it's a ever going thing for you.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. My last month in the hospital was absolutely amazing.
Okay.
I couldn't. They wouldn't let me eat like solid food, so I had a tube in my stomach that they had to feed me through. But once the doctor told me that I could get that out and start eating solid food, the nurses started bringing me home cooked meals. I mean, I had steak and potatoes.
Dang.
I mean, I was getting like they brought me like Blu-ray movies, and like my favorite movie was Old Yeller, and like that got me to the hospital. My dogs are my life at that time. Old Yeller. I mean, I literally would watch that movie in the hospital, and like that was. I think that's what got me through the whole ordeal. And like one day, like they were like, "You're getting transferred to another room." Like I was at my lowest of lows because I just got shot. Sitting in the hospital, Like, I'm thinking this is it for me, like, terrible. And, you know, that movie got me through that whole time. And they were moving me to another room, and out of nowhere, I just started singing. Like, I started singing Happy Trails. No idea where it come from, but that was kind of like my turning point. Like, I understood that, you know, what happened. I still have life, and I can move forward. So, you know, I started to understand that life's not over. I can still get by. I just have to do it in a different fashion. But I mean, I didn't understand that until, like, I don't know if it was like the movie that I watched and I took a lesson from it, or maybe it was another movie that I learned from. But, you know, Old Yeller, he came in, he saved the little boy from the pack of hogs, and, you know, it was like his saving grace. He got sick, and he had to, you know, put his dog down, and like that was the saddest part ever. I think I cried 7 times. And then at the end of it, he got a new puppy. So like life continued to go on. He was happy again and all that. I think that was like the greatest lesson of life. So like if anybody's listening to this podcast, watch Old Yeller, understand it from an adult standpoint, and your life will be great.
Old Yeller's teaching some life lessons.
Oh yeah, and the Fox and the Hound too. I mean, I learned a lot about friendship watching the Fox and the Hound.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm glad you were able to, you know, find something that was able to help you out. I mean, I'm sure in that kind of situation, you have to have something that's going to help you through it, because I mean, we can only sit in that state of, you know, being depressed for so long and being, you know, down in our dumps for so long before we have to find something to help us out. And, you know, and that could be in the form of, you know, just about anything for anybody. I mean, and I'm sure once you got out, you got back into hunting. So what kind of things have you kind of consider, and what kind of factors have you kind of considered to get back into the woods and to pursue, you know, animals once again? And, you know, how has that whole process been for you?
Funny story. So like after I got out of the hospital, I was home for 2 weeks, and it was killing me that I had to be like, people were like trying to baby me and like all that stuff, and it was just driving me crazy. I'm an independent person, always happening. And after getting out of the hospital, I went right back hunting. My dad had a friend that had coon dogs, and I just sat in the truck and, you know, listened to the dogs, whatever. Like, when I told my mom 2 weeks later that I wanted to go hunting, she like to kill me. Like, that was about to be my third death. Been like, 3 strikes, you're out. But she was literally about to like wring my neck and finish me off. So, you know, that kind of started my, you know, me getting back into the outdoors. Like I said, I mean, it was a passion for me. I fell in love with the outdoors, man. Just, you know, that was my home. You know, it was home for me in heart. You know, and after that, you know, I was like, okay, well, these are my cards. I have to play them or fold, and I'm not ready to fold. So I started figuring out ways, you know, to do certain hunts. I think I started dove hunting. We started doing that. I'd shoot a box of shells and hit like, I don't know, 5 doves.
Oh yeah.
But I had 6 with it.
I'm right there with you.
So, I mean, that kind of, you know, it kind of, you know, gave me hope again. And then I started doing other hunts that led me back into, you know, being active in outdoors. And then I got the courage enough to go turkey hunting again. And funny experience. A good friend of mine now, his name is Leon Skilly. He was like, "Hey man, I want to take you turkey hunting." I was like, "Yeah, I don't know about that, man. Last time I went, I didn't have a really good experience. I don't think I want to do this again."
Right.
So we actually ended up going, and they called an English textbook. I mean, 5 minutes. I mean, the bird came out, and everything worked out great. Killed the bird, put on a good show, killed the bird. And I actually shot the bird with the same gun that I got shot with. So, like, that whole hunt was memorable to me. It was a great experience. You know, it was kind of like I conquered the fear of, you know, what happened. And, like, after that day, like, it triggered something inside of me that made me absolutely nuts for turkeys. Like, I have a love-hate relationship with them, and that is my favorite thing. Even though, like, I had a turkey hunting accident that almost killed me, turkey hunting is my absolute favorite thing. I don't care about a whitetail, an elk, a hog. I don't care about anything when it comes to turkey. Like that is my number one priority.
What is it about turkeys that, I mean, is it even possible, I guess, to even put it into words? What is about turkeys? Because I mean, I love deer hunt. I love to get out and do some waterfowl hunting, do some dove hunting, squirrels, whatever. And there's just something about turkeys. I mean, especially in the spring when they're gobbling, you can hear them from a mile away. I mean, there's just something about it that's just it's so hard to describe. And what's that like for you?
Man, I love all aspects of springtime turkey. I mean, the weather, the leaves are changing, new growth, and hearing those birds gobble, man, it just gets you fired up. But for me, I think like I said, it's a love hate relationship. Being that I was injured and almost died in a turkey accident, that makes me. I don't hate the turkey. I don't hate a turkey. I mean, I'll shoot a turkey any day I give it a chance. But it's one of those deals where knowing what happened and how easy it was for it to happen, I respect the turkey. But don't get it wrong, I respect him enough to put a number 5 in his face too. So, it's just one of those deals where, I appreciate turkey hunting. I appreciate everything that comes with turkey hunting, but I respect it knowing where I could be.
Right. Yeah. And there's certainly a definite respect for, I'm sure, safety and that kind of thing whenever you're out hunting with somebody, making sure everybody knows where everybody else is and that kind of thing. I'm sure that's something that's for somebody that has experienced something that you have experienced. I'm sure that's amplified and, excited so much more than, just the average Joe.
Yeah, I mean, just in hunting in general, like, we all get caught up in the moment. We have those moments where we get caught up and, we just get excited. We don't identify our target sometimes and, stuff happens. But the thing about it is, once you pull the trigger, you can't call a bullet back. So, I mean, when it comes to safety, I'm OCD about safety now. I mean, I don't know why, but I mean, I'm very OCD about it.
I think I can pick out why. I'm sure.
But it's just one of those deals where I don't want, like I said, learning from someone else's mistake. I don't want someone else to be in my predicament where I was,
right.
Especially when I stop it before it happens. It's kind of like one of those pushing it forward deals. If I did something and I learned from it, let me teach you how to be better so you don't have that same thing happen.
Exactly. It's better to, like you said, it's better to learn from somebody else's mistakes than to make our own all over again, and bringing down that learning curve to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, and we get a lot of, when deer hunting is not, I mean, it has its safety issues, climbing a tree stand, identifying targets, but turkey hunting it's becoming, I think it's probably one of the most dangerous hunt out there because, I mean, you're fully decked out in camouflage. People are getting crazy about this fanny thing now.
Right.
And, when it comes to turkey hunting, a lot of turkey hunters are the biggest poachers out there. I mean, there's just something about a bird that makes someone turn to outlaw.
Yeah, it's crazy how they make some such poor decisions based on just some kind of movement, and that that movement could be a hunter decked out in camo sitting in the weeds. It could be even seeing a fan. I mean, I feel like the typical human would be able to pick out another human behind a fan, but like you said, it's just we get so excited, we get wrapped up occasionally, and poor decisions get made on occasion.
I have never shot a turkey because I saw it stand.
Right, exactly.
If I don't see a redhead, then I'm not gonna pull a trigger.
And so many people see it. Yeah, they do that with deer also. I mean, they'll see movement in a thicket and just start shooting at it. I mean, like what kind of thinking is that? Because you don't know what that is. I mean, that could be anything. I mean, it could be the neighbor's cow or something. I mean, you don't know. You're just shooting at a blob in the trees. So I mean, safety is. I mean, something that a lot of people really take for granted, and when everything go wrong, it's nearly impossible to reverse the actions. I mean, once it's done, it's done.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you can't call back a bullet.
Right. We're responsible for the resting place of our bullet, no matter where it is.
Yeah.
So after the whole recovery thing, and you took out the tube and everything, and you were discovered this unique skill that you had developed. It's, whenever I say the story, it almost sounds like you got some kind of superpower or something. You're able to develop this skill, and you were able to work on that. So how did you first discover that? Being able to make animal sounds.
It's so funny story. So I was at a expo show, Louisiana Sports Expo show in Gonzales, Louisiana, and I was just there. I mean, this is my first expo show I've ever been to, and I was there with some friends of mine, and this guy was trying to sell me turkey tall. I was like, man, look, I don't want to buy it. I think I was 20, 21 years old, something like that. And growing up, I was, I was baseball playing, basketball playing. Like I was like the king of my element. So I was a little cocky, not even gonna lie. So my cockiness grew into my early 20s. Because the guy was trying to sell me a turkey call, and I was like, man, I just don't want to buy your turkey call. He still trying to push it on me. I was like, man, I don't want to buy it. I can do that myself. And lo and behold, the guy called my bluff. And I'm one of those persons, once I say something, if he comes out of my mouth, I'm going to figure out a way to, it's me, because I don't want to look like a fool because I just said it. I don't, the older people say, don't let your mouth cash a check that your butt can't. Don't let your mouth write a check your butt can't cash. And I've been in that situation many a times. And
definitely,
this is one of those situations. And the guy keeps calling my bluff, so I was like, all right, let me hear it again. And he let me hear it again, and I did the best thing that I could do as a mimic in this call. And the owner of the company turned around. He's like, "Is that our call?" He's like, "No, that's the kid." And they ran me away from the booth.
Get them out of here.
Bad for business. So I went to another booth, and I was like, man, that's cool. Because I was like, dang, I just did that. I was like, oh, pretty cool. So I'm going through the extra show, just doing this little turkey call, just trying to figure out how the heck I just did that. And one booth stopped me. It's like, hey, that sounds pretty good. Well, kid, heck, I don't know. I just learned it 10 minutes ago. Now I'm feeling good, I just learned how to turkey call in 10 minutes. It's easy. I got this. So people start asking, can you do this call? Can you do such and such? Can you sound like this? I was like, man, I don't know. And I started listening to animal sounds. And I broke down a sound into a word, and then I put that into a sound for me. It's really hard. It's really complex to understand, but for instance, a duck, a mallard hail. It's it goes whack, 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 whack. Okay. Mm-hmm. So for me, I learned how to do a mallard duck hail by going outside. My dog got tangled up, and a black lab got tangled up under his doghouse or whatever. And I was trying to tell him back, and with my voice being altered, the higher I got to saying back, it came out as a duck. When I get really excited, it's funny. It's weird but funny at the same time. When I get really excited, certain words that I say comes out as a goose honk. It's the truest. It's very, very weird. It's a true statement. For instance, what? If I get really excited, what comes out as a goose honk? And it sounds like this. What?
That's good.
But I don't know. So I literally became Dr. Doolittle in a matter of an accident.
I think I saw you on the was it the Rated Red video, and you were giving kind of a tutorial on doing a goose honk, and you were using the word, I think it was it bark, I believe. And you were killing it, and you were getting right on it, man. It sounded so good.
Mm-hmm. So So like any one syllable word, I could turn into a goose call.
That's awesome.
And like I said, when I get excited, certain words, it's weird, but my friends make fun of me because it just comes natural. Like if I'm like getting into like a pretend argument with somebody, the more excited I get, the more I start honking at people.
You may be part goose.
I swear I'm Canadian. I swear.
Start migrating.
I'm actually about to migrate. I'm about to get the heck out of here. Louisiana is way too hot for me. I'm about to migrate up north.
There you go. You may be part goose then.
I may be part goose. I'm just returning home.
So how many different animal sounds are you actually able to do? I mean, have you actually sat down and counted the different types of sounds and different types of animals and everything?
The last time I checked before like you completely stopped, I was at like 60 calls.
Holy cow.
Yeah, but it's different. It's different variations. I mean, I can turn, so like I can do like 4 calls for turkeys. The tom, the hen, kiki run, a cluck, a purr, just like the whole dynamics of that fly down cackle. And then, for deer, the grunt, the bleat. And if I could learn how to rattle with my teeth, I'd be a millionaire.
That's something you can work on next. Make it 61.
No, man, my dentist bill's gonna be way too high. I learn how to rattle with my teeth.
So, do you actually use the calling like in the woods? I mean, so everything you're doing out in the woods is with your natural voice.
Oh yeah. I'll bring like turkey season. I'll bring a call like if I'm hunting Kansas or somewhere where it's really windy. Because my voice it doesn't got the wind. So I'll bring a call to certain places, but normally most of the time I just go out there, I pack a gun, pack a decoy, and just shoot at them and kill turkey. Like it is my mission to kill turkey. And if I don't kill a turkey in like 3 days of hunting, I'm very mad. Like I'm on a mission to kill a bird.
So how much time do you put in to do scouting and everything? I mean, 3 days is a pretty short timeline. At least for me it is. So how much time do you actually spend scouting? Compared to the spring versus the fall.
Normally, I only hunt place for 5 days. So every turkey season, I do a 5-state, 30-day tour. So I'll get to a place, we find out where the birds are first day, and then second day, we're trying to pull a trigger. Well, we're trying to kill a bird on first day, but I mean, second day is normally when we start killing.
Right.
First day is a scouting day. Someone's like, hey, we get birds on this place. We'll go out, list for them in the morning. We'll give them a hard run that morning. If we don't kill them by lunchtime, we'll start driving around, start scouting, trying to figure out where they are. And then in the afternoon, we'll go try and roost it. And then the next morning, we're sitting up under them, and, we're trying to, get them in that shotgun range, and then, boom, after that, that's all good. It's all game over. So, I try and get there first day, it's a good day. We're here on a roost goblin, and, we're trying to locate on the first day, and we're trying to kill on the second day.
What kind of equipment are you going to need to, be able to cruise around on your terrain and, that kind of thing to get in position for a roosted turkey?
So I have this chair called an action track chair. It has like paint stripes on it, and it's a electric wheelchair. It's pretty much a bulldozer in a mini version.
Oh, that's awesome. That sounds cool.
And it goes over all kind of terrain. It's super quiet. And I can literally sneak up on any animal that I'm hunting with this thing.
That's pretty cool.
I mean,
that sounds awesome.
Yeah. So what we'll do is I'll park my truck within 500 yards, and we'll get there early. We'll just cruise into the dark before sunlight comes up, and get to where we need to be, or within 100, 150 yards of where we need to be. We'll set up and start working a bird from there. And then as time goes on, if the bird's not coming in, we'll start, like I said, it's quiet. So I can slowly creep and cruise to where I need to be to get in that strut zone or wherever I need to be to get the bird in closer to make it happen. So, I mean, it's cheating, but it's not cheating.
No way. That's not cheating at all. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Use your resources.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I can get where I need to be. I mean, it crosses creeks, it crosses ditches. I mean, it goes up rocks. I mean, this chair is insanely cool, and it's gotten me through a lot.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I think I've actually seen. I don't know. I think I've seen those type of chairs before, and they look pretty. I mean, they look almost like something out of a Batman movie or something. I know that
Yeah, pretty
it's
much.
pretty cool looking, and the fact that you're actually able to go out and pursue your passions and that kind of thing using this equipment is even better. I mean, it makes it that much better.
Yeah, I mean, like being a handicapped hunter, I mean, they make a lot of equipment to make it easier for someone like myself.
Mm-hmm.
There's Action Track chair. There's another one I think called Track Fab. They make a chair kind of similar to it. There's another company out of Australia, I want to say, that makes one, which I really want. It goes like 30 miles an hour. It's got like roll bars on it and thing. Listen, if I had that chair that goes 30 miles an hour, I wouldn't even carry a gun. I'd just run straight down.
Just run them down.
I should go out and field full of turkeys. I just put that thing on high gear and just get to chasing after them.
That'd be awesome. If you do that, I definitely want to see that. We gotta have some kind of video or something. That'd be crazy.
I said that I'd do it, but have you ever personally grabbed?
No, I have never personally grabbed a live one. I've kind of messed with them a little bit while they're still flopping around on the ground and stuff, but I usually try to wait till they're completely somewhat still before I touch them, because they got spurs and they got all kinds of sharp edges that I don't want to get involved with.
Okay, well, as we, I'm a backtrack. Remember how I said learn from someone else's mistake?
Yeah, I think I know where this is going.
Oh yeah, it's going there. I went to Pennsylvania. A little girl took her on her first turkey hunt ever. It's me, her, and her dad. We get there in the morning. It's textbook hunt. 5 minutes, birds come in. Her and her dad shoot. She knocks one down. Her dad didn't get one. So we're all high five and happy and everything like that. Awesome, game on first turkey. They're all excited. It's like amazing. So I'm rolling up to this bird and going through the whole process of celebration and everything. I get about 15 yards from this bird. It pops up and looks at us. Like the bird wasn't. I mean, it was. I don't know if the wad hit it or what happened, but the bird was not dead, phased, anything. So I was like, hey, listen, y'all stay here. I'm trying to be a good Samaritan, because I got a good heart. I'm looking out for other people. Like, I'm gonna go finish this bird off. I go up to this bird, let you get up to it, and reach down and I grab it by the feet. This was the stupidest mistake of my life. At the time, I'm only about 115 pounds soaking wet. Okay? Sitting in my wheelchair, this bird is flapping. It's like hitting me in the face with its wings, beating me up in the chest. The little girl's terrified. The dad's trying to find his phone to video this.
Not trying to help, but he's going to video it.
No, there was no help involved at all. Okay? So the bird gets enough air under its wing to make me fall forward out of my chair. Like I said, it's the first turkey. I'm trying to be a good Samaritan. I saw one around this turkey, and it's beating me up. Back in the day in high school, I got into a couple of scruffles with friends and all that. I never had my butt kicked like I had my butt kicked this day.
Turkey got you.
Oh man, this bird's beating me up. It felt like it's like going 5 rounds with Mike Tyson. So I'm on the ground, the bird's beating me up. I just get to the point where I'm tired of getting hit. I'm trying to hit back. So I start giving a couple uppercuts at his bird. It's not doing anything, but it just made me feel like I was kind of winning. So me and this bird fight for about 4 or 5 minutes. We go at it. By the time I'm done with this bird, it looks like a wet buzzer. The ground's wet. I'm soaking wet. Bird's wet. Feathers going everywhere. I think I wrestled half the beard off. I mean, it's just a crazy experience. Finally, the bird stops. I'm already cool with that. It's good times. So I'm out of breath. I need an inhaler. The girl comes over. She's like, is it done? I was like, yeah, I think it's done. She's terrified. I would be terrified too.
Right, yeah.
A bird and a paraplegic on the ground fighting and killing this thing. Right. That doesn't happen every day. So I was like, all right, come take your picture. She was terrified to take a picture. the bird comes back and gets its second win and comes back to life. Like now I have to like fight this bird on the second win, and like I'm still trying to catch my first win. So yeah, I mean it's just like never ever grab a live turkey. I don't care like how big and bad you think you are. Let me just let you know right now, a turkey is bigger and badder and will kick your butt. I don't care how big you are.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy how a 20-pound bird, is going to whoop up anybody, just about anybody that wants to come across it.
Dude, it was like not to sound politically incorrect, but it was like fighting a midget on steroids.
So I guess the most important question to ask is, did the dad get the video recorded?
Yeah, gotta make sure he deleted all that.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. I told him before I left, look, dude, you got to delete that. You can't blackmail. It don't work like that.
Oh man, that's funny. But yeah, so the moral of the story: don't grab a live turkey. That's for sure.
No.
You will lose that one.
Yeah. I don't care how bad you're trying to impress your friends. Don't ever do it.
Right.
I don't care if it's by the neck or by the. I mean, if you grab them by the neck, they just kick the heck out of you. Right. And if you grab them by the feet, they just wing you. I mean, there's no winning situation. It's kind of like fighting a kangaroo.
Something coming from all angles.
Yeah, man. Like two things I would never want to fight in my life: a turkey and a kangaroo.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Oh man, that's hilarious.
That's it. Learn from my mistakes.
Don't grab a live turkey. That's for sure.
No, never, ever.
So, of course, all turkey guys are gonna love the spring, but do you ever hunt turkeys in the fall?
I've never turkey hunted in the fall. It's just something about snow and turkeys that just don't register in my mind. And everywhere I've been in the fall, when it comes to turkeys, there's snow, and I'm from South Louisiana. Me and snow don't get together. Plus, I don't blend in with snow, so like I kind of avoid it.
Right. Yeah. You ever use a blind or anything? I'm sure you use one quite a bit in the springtime, but
no, I actually don't use a blind at all.
Okay, awesome.
I run and gun, rolling gun, whatever you want to call it. But I'm one of those guys. I love pursuing an animal. I love to chase. I live for the chase is what drives me. Like say, if you hear a bird, 200 yards off in a holler, I'm going to that bird. That's just what drives me.
That's awesome. Yeah, those fall birds. I've tried it a couple times. It's a little bit tricky. I mean, they'll flock up, and they're not as responsive to calls and that kind of thing, and it can be a little bit tricky. It's almost more of a whitetail ambush type setup because you're just kind of waiting for them to walk through kind of thing. And I don't have a whole lot of experience with it, so I'm not sure how much I can actually speak on it. But just from the couple of times I've tried it, that's the way that it's kind of seemed at least the best way for me to hunt, fall turkeys. But yeah, man.
You're in Kentucky, correct?
Yeah, I'm in Kentucky, right on the edge of the Appalachian Mountain, Moorhead. It's like northeast part of Kentucky. But yeah, we've got a couple thousand acres of public land out here, and then it's actually a really good area. We've got a lot of good habitat for eastern turkeys up here. So one of your 5 states, you should drop by here one time.
Yeah, I actually have I got a place in Kentucky for deer. This past season, we had a couple turkeys come out. It's just from where I was sitting and where my camera guy was, it was no way that I could turn and get on your bird. But I mean, it just one of these days I'll get it done, but it just hasn't happened yet. But definitely, we need to link up next spring and go chase turkey in Kentucky.
Definitely. Yeah, we got a lot of good areas around here. It's a lot of good, like I said, a lot of good public land there with these rolling hills and thick woods and all that kind of thing. It's some really good opportunities and habitat for wild turkey, and we've got a pretty good substantial population. Just Kentucky in general, I feel like it has a pretty good population of turkeys and that kind of thing. You're allowed 2 each season for the spring, and then you can get 4 in the fall. So I mean, it's diehard turkey guys, if they want to go out, I mean, they can get 6 birds a year. I mean, that's there's not a whole lot of states that are able to offer that kind of thing.
All right, so you just piqued my interest way up. You can get 6 turkeys in Kentucky.
Yeah, between the spring and the fall seasons. Yeah, so in the spring you can get 2. You're able to get up to 2.
Yeah, you should have never told me that.
Yeah, man, and it's a good opportunity. We got some good habitat around here, and Kentucky does a really good job. Their Fish and Wildlife Department, I feel like they do a real good job of taking care of wild turkey populations, and we do a pretty. I feel like they do a pretty good job of wildlife in general in a whole lot of different areas.
No, Kentucky's a great state. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think Kentucky is one of the better states to hunt. I mean, you just have, I mean, just about anything that your true sportsman goes after. I mean, you have good duck hunting. So I'm on Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
I'm by Missouri and Illinois. So we have good duck hunting.
Yeah.
Plenty of deer, plenty of turkeys. You guys have elk further where you are, or is it south of you?
That's south of us. So the southeastern side, so closer to like the Virginia Tennessee border. The closer you get down there, that's where the reestablished elk population is. Yeah, they just did that. It's probably about 25, 30 years ago. They first introduced the elk down there, and they actually have a lottery system now where you can apply each year and try to get an elk tag. I haven't been able to get drawn yet, but I try it just about every year though.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, Kentucky's it's a good state. It's not a sleeper state anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a good state. I'm actually going to be pretty close to you soon. Like I said, I'm migrating north because that Canadian goose in me.
Yeah, you
up
go.
there. I'm trying to get to Tennessee within the next next month or so. But Tennessee is a sleeper state. It's one of those states where you can also hunt turkeys in the fall there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the whitetail hunting there I think it's overlooked.
A lot of good agriculture out there.
Yeah, I'm not promoting Tennessee because I don't want everybody like crowding Tennessee. I want to like save a couple different. But I think it's one of the sleeper states. I think it's one of those states that's really booming, and people are starting to find out about it.
Yeah, it's pretty diverse. Very similar to how Kentucky's kind of set up, where the eastern side's got a lot of the mountains area, so you can have some good population of like black bear and elk and that kind of thing, and even deer. And then whereas the western side of the states are, it kind of flattens out as you get closer to the Mississippi River out there. So you get a lot of good waterfowl populations out there, even deer and turkey, that kind of stuff out through there too. So it's kind of set up very similar as far as the landscape goes. And I think it offers a lot of good opportunities as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
But yeah, man. So yeah, just let me know. We can do some hunting out here in northeast Kentucky, Moorhead area, and I'll be in contact with you, and we can get that worked out for sure.
Yeah, man, I'm totally game for it. We'll definitely have a good time.
Definitely.
Like I said, I have volunteered enough for grabbing turkeys, so this time it's on you.
Right. Definitely, yeah. So you have to film me wrestling a turkey this time.
Oh, listen. If we turkey hunt, I'm going to make sure I body shoot. I'm going to make sure I just clip the wing. That's all I want to do. I'm going to clip the wing. I want to get a couple feathers on the wing and like maybe a broken leg. So like you have to fight turkey.
Wrestle it to the ground. Probably whip me, scar me to death with its dang spurs.
And listen, I'm not going to turn the camera off. I mean, that's the best part about
it. We'll have to get that figured out for sure. Bring some boxing gloves, I guess. I'll have to add that to my turkey arsenal, some boxing gloves.
Yeah, I mean, you might have just told me your hunting bag.
Yeah, there we go. So, man, as we're kind of winding down here, there's always one question I like to ask my guests at the end of the show. But my question for you is, what does hunting mean to you?
Hunting for me it's changed my life. It's like sounds so cliche, but hunting has changed my life into it put me into this position where I appreciate so much of the outdoors. Being out there, I get to experience life in a different manner. I get to enjoy the sunrise. A lot of people don't get to see that. I get to see the sunrise and the sunset. It's one of the most gorgeous locations that I've ever been when it comes to traveling. I get to become mellowed out and like relax and find my zen. And it puts me in a different state of mind where I appreciate what God has put on earth for us to really take pride in. And hunting for me it's not all about the kill. It's all about the fellowship. Being with friends and family, and finding out what's the next step to better improve something. for yourself and someone else. Even when it comes to conservation, as hunters, we're not always, we take a small percentage away from the environment that we put into. We may get a bad rep for what we do because, people just don't understand it, but, what we do as far as conservation and building habitat for animals, we put in a lot of work to make a better place. If we can do that as people, for the environment that we have in our everyday life, I think the whole world will be a better place. I mean, it sounds so much cliche, but if we invest time to that, if we invest time to better property, like we better property to better our surroundings and our everyday life, I think growth would happen, and things would be in a whole lot better place than what they are now. So hunting to me, it's a life lesson. You get to sit back and reflect on life and make a master plan to try to change the way we think about life and the way we do things in life.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely have to agree with you on that one. I mean, being a turkey guy, I know you have to be able to appreciate, conservation efforts and that kind of thing. Because wild turkey, that's one of the greatest conservation success stories ever, and it was fueled by mostly in part by guys who like to hunt. I mean, the NWTF was able to put together a model that was sustainable through hunting and fishing license revenue and all that kind of thing. And I mean, it's just incredible that we're able to have this opportunity to go out and hunt these animals because we have chosen to put this value on them. And it's just a pretty neat thing whenever people are actually able to educate themselves on the conservation efforts and that kind of thing. And it really shines a new bit of appreciation on everything that we can do as hunters.
I totally agree with that. Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That was a good response, and I definitely appreciate that. And there definitely is an appreciation that we have to have as hunters for God's creation and everything that He gave us dominion over these animals, and that doesn't mean roll over them with an iron fist. I mean, we have to take care of them. We have to provide for them. We have to provide habitat, and and in the end, He provides for us through those animals. So I mean, it's a circle.
Yeah, like the Lion King said, circle of life.
That's right. That's right. So what kind of hunts you got coming up this fall?
I have 2 Texas deer hunts for sure. I do a hunt every year for kids with disability in Arkansas. That's in November, a week before Thanksgiving. I will be hunting Kentucky for the rifle season after that Arkansas trip. And then after that, I have no idea. I'm kind of one of those guys who just spontaneous. I can just kind of go with the wind.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely gonna hunt Tennessee. I'm gonna do the best I can to try and make something happen. I mean, I want to figure out I don't have a lease there or anything, but I kind of want to get on some of those public grounds, those archery places, and go a little scouting and see if I can make something happen.
There we go, man. It sounds like a pretty good plan. It sounds like you got a fun-filled fall coming up this year. It'll be all over the place.
It's going to be amazing, so I look forward to it. Every year I have a good year in the woods, even if I don't have the kills and all that. I still have a good year, fellowship with friends and having a good time. And at the end of the day, I come home happy if I get to put a couple animals in a freezer. That's all that matters to me. It don't matter about the horn size. It don't matter about the taxidermy deal and all that stuff. Maybe I'm from Louisiana. We don't kill big deer. We kill enough deer to fill a freezer. That's what it's all about. That trophy for me is, that marble cut of meat, sizzled on the grill, seasoned just right. That's my trophy.
Absolutely, definitely. I definitely got to agree with you on that one. It's all about defining success, and that's whenever you got that food on the plate, something that you were directly responsible for putting there. I mean, that's where it's at right there.
Yeah, man. And I like to eat. I'm one of the guys. I might be skinny, but there's an inner fat kid inside.
Definitely, we've all got one, right? All right, man. So where can listeners follow you? Where can they check you out more?
Man, my social media is Son of the South, SON of the South. And Instagram is Son of the South TV. If you just Google search Joshua Carney, Carney, I'll pop up on just about everything. You can hear my story. You can check more information about me and just get to know me a little more. And hey, if you hear this podcast, shoot me a message. We can have a conversation, whatever you want to do. I mean, I'm open for anything. I'm all about a good time.
Definitely, man. I'll make sure I put those links and that kind of stuff in the show notes. That way people can see them and access them straight from the show notes of this episode. And man, I appreciate it. This was a fun conversation. I thank you for, taking some time out of your evening to be on the Rice Kill Eat podcast with me. We had a little bit of technical issues there at the beginning, but we worked through it and we're able to have us a good little talk here.
Hey, like I told you earlier, if something can't go wrong, it will go wrong when it comes to me.
That's right. That's right, man. Well, I appreciate you being on. I'll definitely be in contact with you, and we can maybe get together soon and get some hunts worked out and that kind of thing. And I think it'd be really cool to be able to get out in the woods with you sometime.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
All right, dude. Sounds good, man. So I appreciate it, and take it easy. Be safe. Have fun this fall, and get you some meat in the freezer.
Yes, sir. That's what I look forward to. You too.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. Take it easy.
All right. Take it easy. Yes, sir.